On the GC Sports Broadcasting Network, that means one thing. It's Cobra Racing Series night. We have tonight the Xfinity Series is headed to Kansas. Then we'll have the Cup Series headed to Kansas immediately after, right? So I'm the CEO of GC Sports. This is Aqua Tatty. In the booth with me right now is the CEO of Cobra Racing. That would be Old Man Butters.
Hey, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me again.
Also, we have an in-race reporter of Brinkerhoff here. Don't say hi just yet, Brink, as I'm accepting the invite. So I'm blue screened. We got, wow, looked like 20 drivers. That's a handful. But all right, I'm off blue screen, so you can go ahead and say hi, Brink.
Sorry, I'm here back on the mic.
All right, should be a good one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Butters. Do they do playoffs here in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, they do. It's the same, pretty much the same format as our Cup guys. Top 8 make the playoffs, and we have, basically the same format as the Cup guys.
So tonight's the final night then before these guys head to the playoffs as well. So big night for these guys as well. Also, let's not forget the fact that there's always that coveted whoever wins this race is guaranteed a spot in the Cup race later on. If they so choose, they're actually just guaranteed a spot within 3 races. So all these drivers here trying to make their way into the Cup race. Lots of moves happened in that Cup race, but we're going to talk about the Xfinity race. On the pole, colleague fan in the 16, but he's not your race leader. Newly acquired Integrity Motorsports driver, awesome 12645. He is your race leader. Right behind him is the 20 of somebody. That's Warpig in the 20. He was a custom car last week. He is one of your... No, he's not a Cup regular anymore. He's an Xfinity Series regular. He was actually dropped from the Cup Series this week. So Warpig out here trying to get, he is now just an Xfinity full-time Series driver. So, going to be an interesting one. Fire Slayer said you have an echo there, Butters. I don't know if you got something going on in the background or what.
Alright, just checking. No, I don't have nothing up. Slayer, am I still doing it?
Nobody notices Chase Beatty and I just come from the gate at 9 to top 4.
Yeah, I was riding along with Warpig. He caught the wall. He ended up going pretty far back. Now I'm seeing Chewy catch the wall. Kansas is an intriguing track. We're seeing a lot of guys run the very bottom here through the corners. That's not where you want to be, as we see a wreck. The 07 Robbie Rayson, newly acquired Venom Cup Series driver. He's going flying through the grass. Not really where you want to be. Wreck of the 20 Warpig. No, it was the 07 that was on the grass, and then you were on the track. But Brinkerhoff makes contact, and the 20 of Warpig goes flying around, and the 9 of Cody is also involved in that. So early caution here at Kansas, but plenty of time for these guys to calm down. And Fire Slayer said that you're good to go now, Butters.
Oh, good, thank you.
So what are we expecting to see here, Butters? We have an early caution already, right? So are you expecting to see multiple cautions at a track like this? It's so one groove oriented on the outside lane, right? So are you expecting to see a lot of cautions? Or are you hoping maybe we'll see some long green flag races?
No, actually, to be honest with you, Daddy, I'm kind of surprised that they started out already with one. I figure Kansas is a big enough track. I know it's a one groove track a lot of times, but I was figuring I wouldn't start seeing some yellows until the patients come out in that last stage. But it could have been just a fluke thing to come out, but I'm sure these guys will clean it up, and we'll see an exciting show here.
It was honestly just an accident, if you want. The Chewy, when he got into the wall in front of me, and I had to really know where to go, and then when I got off the turn, I lost speed, and I got kind of run over, so...
Yeah, Kansas is notorious, right? So on these restarts, you see the 36, awesome. He started on the inside. He's got a good lead there, right in front of the 61. Right, 61 is Funky Town, right? But on turn 1 and 2 on a restart, you really want to be on the bottom because the bottom's going to prevail. However, by the time you get into turns 3 and 4, you really want to be on the top. So we're seeing it right there. Warpig gets into crazy bait or contact with the wall, right? So everybody wants to restart on the inside, but you want to fight your way to the top. Unlike last week at Daytona, where everyone wants to be on the bottom, you want to fight really, really hard to get to the outside. And by doing that, the guy on the inside may not want to make that move. So his block is going to put you into the wall instead of on the apron where you can recover. The problem with that is when you hit the wall, you have the whole rest of the field behind you, who then is trying to check up, and or they just car ramrod you, and it's an accordion effect. So Kansas is notorious for those type of wrecks. It's really easy. Also, it sucks you into the wall here. You're not going to see much of somebody hitting the wall and bouncing off, going flying across the track. It's just going to suck them into the wall, and then because everybody behind them is already on the outside, and it's such a fast track, right, that it's really hard to not get bottled up. I'm surprised to see this 99 at Drunk Fest. Butters, I don't know how much you know about Kansas, right, but the 99 at Drunk Fest, I'm seeing him run a little bit lower. He's running about mid-groove on the racetrack, and I don't know if that's to protect the bottom, or maybe he's found a new line.
Yeah, I'm guessing here, since it's early in the race, maybe he's just trying something out that he knows everybody else is running that middle to upper lane, so maybe he's just trying to see if he can get his car to handle and have something work for him towards the bottom there.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, it's a one-lane track. We talked about it, Brinks talked about it, now Butters talked about it, right? If everybody's going to be at the top, it's really hard to pass everybody. If that's where every single car is, just like Daytona, right? Like if you're going to be the guy that makes moves, you have to go where the cars aren't. And so if you can find something or a setup maybe that works in the middle groove or the low groove, and you can start passing people without that crossover that this track's notorious for. Is Chewy's trying to take the lead up front right now, going to try to catch on to him. He's unable to complete the pass. Awesome's going to have the run off the 39. He was down on the inside. Mike G now sitting in third. He's going to get the run off, right? But so if you can make a successful pass on the bottom without drifting up, having to do a slide job where you get crossed over, then you're going to be really successful at a track like Kansas.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of going through the field here a little bit, Chatty. I see we got the number 4 of Forensics back. Forensic is back in action with us tonight. He's coming off of a few multi-race suspension, and I see he's finally came back and looks like he's ready to roll. It looks like he's got a fast car out there, and see where it gets him at the end. He's always a really strong driver in the Spanish league here, so we'll see if he can make some noise out there. Looks like we got some contact out there between a couple cars. Looks like Drunkfist and maybe
I seen Chewy up in the wall. Funky Town in the 61. He's now falling back a little bit, trying to avoid that. But Drunkfest has moved up to P number 3 and that number 99. We're seeing some 3-wide action back here. Lucy, Goosey, Brinkerhoff, and Collickfan in that number 16. So Monster Racing said, internet down in my area, no race for me tonight, guys. Sorry. So that means Monster Racing, he's also one of the Cup guys, so that's one less driver trying to qualify their way in tonight as well. So I think that's going to make, instead of 10 drivers, that'll be, what, 9 drivers trying to qualify their way in? Or 8, actually, after this race. Really unfortunate event. Monster Racing, he was your race winner last week, got to make his debut in the Cup Series at Daytona, a track that he wasn't really excited for. He was looking forward to Kansas being possibly his second race in the Cup Series, but that is going to be no more. Awesome, 12645. He is dominating this race right now. He's really got it online. I'm interested on the fact that he's not utilizing that apron in the trial that a lot of people do. You know, when you're chasing somebody down, you'll use that apron. It cuts a tenth or so off the track and makes you go pretty fast, but once you get into traffic, you don't really want to go on the apron anymore, because that allows the guy behind you to get a run on the outside. So I'm interested to see, or I'm intrigued on some of these lines that these people are running. Is it's not your typical preferred line. Is we're seeing Robbie Rayson holding the white line at the bottom is their 3 wide. He's trying to make up ground after being in the grass early there before that first caution, and he's gained a few spots here, but by no means is he up front yet.
Right, as I'm looking here, I'm just kind of doing a little paging through the field here a little bit, but yeah, one guy we don't mention that usually fairly new here in the Xfinity League is the number 98 at Tiller, and another, like I said, surprised that he's sitting back where he is. I don't know if he's hanging low right now, but look forward to seeing him up front. He usually runs up front there in his last few races since he's joined. He's been right up there, so yeah. So that's just, as I said, I'm just going through the field here, noticing where guys are sitting.
Yeah, he actually told me that Kansas is one of his absolute favorite tracks on the game, so a little surprised to see him running so far back, but this is not an easy track to pass people by any means. And with that said, you can see the racing up front. Also tonight, we have in that number 4 Chevy Camaro, we have the return of Forensic after a 2-week suspension. Him and Robbie Rayson are side by side on track. That is what the racing, the 2 drivers that were racing that involved the suspension of the 4 car. So no love lost between these 2 drivers. 4 is going to run it in the middle groove. He's not going to run up top. I think he's going to make sure that the 07 doesn't have a whole lot of room. Brinkerhoff and Chewy almost make contact. 4 gets into the back of the Brinkerhoff. Not Brinkerhoff. The Forensic then backs up, and Taylor catches the bumper of him. Taylor catches the wall, trying to avoid it. Here comes the 20 of Warpig. He's going to gain this big action. This is the pack we want to race with. This is where the action is going to happen right now on the track. Anything else could happen anywhere, but this is the biggest group on the track, so we're going to keep it right here on the 4 car of Forensic.
Yeah, you keep it on that 4 car. I just want to add a little bit. I'm kind of following around with them top 3 cars, and I noticed the number 99 of Drunkfest is in that 3rd spot, but he sets himself up. He keeps trying to make that bottom side of the track work on these 1st and 2nd place guys. There he's at the bottom again here a little bit, trying to make that through the corner, but he just doesn't have enough off the corner to make it work. But like I said, he's constantly trying that bottom of the track.
Up front now, I am riding along with those guys that you're talking about. I seen Mike G trying to make a move coming off turn 4. He got down below the 36, but that run that you get on the outside, if you hit your marks, it's just crazy, right? So really, Kansas is a notorious track for, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when you get loose on the exit of a corner, right? So you really need to just fall in line. We'll see these guys, further in the pack where we were watching. These guys will just end up in a straight line where if you are the one that ducks to the bottom, you're going to get the whole outside line will just car ramrod past you, right? So yeah, but here's the problem with what the 21 did. The 99 is going to be able to stay on the 36's bumper. The 21's probably going to fall the 3rd here, right? That's exactly what I was talking about. When you make the move, you really have to dive it in deep, and a slide job is almost mandatory in order to make a pass if you're on the bottom here. And when you try doing that, the car in front that you're trying to pass is actually going to try to do the crossover and go down below you, and they'll have the run off because they had the high side throughout the whole corner. So your real only option is to wait for that car in front of you to get loose, as that looks like that's the end of stage 1 with Awesome beating Drunkfest, who then beat Mike G. As far as 4th and 5th, that was up in the air.
Lucy, Chase, and Funky Town.
All right, Brinkerhoff, I'm going to throw it down to you. You're our in-race reporter. You're about to make some adjustments as you're under this caution, right? You were in a big pack of cars. We seen a short run with the very first part of stage 1 there. You guys had an early caution, so you were able to make a few adjustments, but what do you do now? We've had a short run and we've had a long run. Do you adjust your car according to which one? Is it kind of hit or miss at this point?
Well, my car, I set it up for a long run. At least I believe it's for a pretty good long run. I don't want to make it too much looser now. So I'm prepared for long runs here with this group. I think, like you said, if we get caught in a kind of funnel, we may have a caution early on in the stage, but once we get out, it's going to spring out, and in stage 3, I think it's really where my setup is going to come into play.
All right, Butters, I'm going to shoot it over to you. What do you think? You think we're going to have some short runs, or you think we're going to have some, maybe stage 2 go cautionless?
Honestly, I think we're probably going to be able to go pretty much have a long run here in stage 2. Like I said, every week most weeks in and weeks out, these guys all put in good racing, all the stages except for them last 20. So that's where a guy starts getting nervous, So yeah, I think they'll keep it together here in this first stage. But like I said, I say it every week. The patience goes away, and then these boys start not giving; they're all taking.
Looks like pit strategy up front has gotten Chase Beatty to the race lead. Unfortunately, with that pit strategy means older tires, and that has gotten the 36 and the 21 around him already on the outside. Drunkfest gets into the wall on the exit of 2. He's going to go flying down to the apron. He's going to lose 5-6 spots. They're 3 abreast down there as they enter turns 3 and 4. Robbie Rayson, the one that is going to pan out and get behind Drunkfest here. So looks like 6th position now for Robbie. He's going to stay to the outside and hope he can get a run and maybe to the outside of Drunkfest before they get into turns 1 and 2. Unavailable was the outside lane. Drunkfest was able to cut it off. Looks like Bad Guy tried to get to the inside of Robbie, but Robbie did have the preferred lane, so he's going to hold it there on the outside lane. Back here, 3-4 wide abreast on the exit of turn number 2. Brinkerhoff going to lead the back half of this pack. His colleague fan now going to push the issue as he drops down to the inside of Brinkerhoff, who has Chewy on the outside of him. Will Tiller, will Ty Rayson, will one of these guys back there have the advantage? No. Right now, Chewy is able to hold off Brinkerhoff, and Tiller now following Chewy is going to get to the outside of Brinkerhoff. Warpig pushing the issue. He's trying to get to the outside of of Brinkhoff. Brinkerhoff looking for a gap on the outside in a bad way as he's starting to lose positions. And he gets loose on the exit of the corner, or that may have been contact. I couldn't really tell. Loosey-goosey now. I got you. Loosey-goosey now, this number 92 custom paint scheme Chevy Camaro has moved his way up into the position number 3 with Funky Town running P4. Robbie Rayson now has been able to get around Drunk Fest and has moved into 5th position. But up front, it's a whole lot like Stage 1 as Awesome is racing Mike G for our race lead. Butters, I'm going to send it down to you over there. What are you seeing and what are you liking so far here early in stage number 2 as they're pretty well single-filed out?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it's one thing I always, like I said a million times before, the patience is there. I know how strong the car 36 and number 21 and Mike G are, but it's, you know, it's just, you know, they're all single-filed, turning some laps. You know, I don't know if they're checking out what they're, you know, maybe they're taking looks at what their tire wears and stuff. But yeah, right now it's, you know, yeah, it may be a little on the boring side as far as race action, but you know what, these guys are taking care of their equipment, and yeah, like I said, I just so far pretty pleased on how this is all turning out.
Yeah, you said something there that really nails it on the head. So there in stage 1, they didn't run a full fuel run where they had to go down pit road, right? So if stage 2 does stay green, we're looking at possible pit stops, right? But here's the thing is, without running a full fuel run, you don't know what your tires and or your fuel is going to be sitting at, your tire to fuel ratio at the end of these runs, right? So some of these drivers still unaware of what's going to happen with their car. Some of them already know after practicing this week, and they're just hoping that they have the most consistent tires. But Kansas can be notorious for one or the other. Either your right front's going to burn or your right rear is loosey-goosey. He makes a huge move. Oh, bold move, Cotton, as he dives it in deep, gets past both Mike G and Awesome. He's going to do the slide job. He's going to drift up. Awesome with the crossover. Loose gets loose on the exit of the corner, gets into Mike G, but P2 now for that number 92 as Funky Town in the 61. He's starting to turn some heads as he's sitting P4 there right behind Mike G, but what a bold move by loosey-goosey. It's so early being only stage 2, but really we talked about stage 3 being the money stage. That's when racing gets a little more violent, a little more hectic. You really need to use the first 2 stages to figure out what your car will do. Is Funky Town, he's now the one diving it down to the bottom, trying to make some moves up here in that 61, as right behind them P5 Drunkfest was able to get around Robbie Rayson, but Robbie's still right on his bumper for 6, so this is no longer a 4-car battle for the lead. It will be a 6-car battle for the lead here shortly, as they're only just about a car length or 2 behind, and Chase Beatty right there running P7.
Yeah, you know, going back to this, you know, you talked about a little bit about the single car qualifying for the Cup guys coming up after, you know, a few of these guys are running in this Xfinity race, like Loose and Awesome and Chase Beatty. You know, these guys are they're trying to win this race, because then they can forego the single car qualifying, because with Cobra, you know, the winner of Xfinity automatically gets a bid to run with the Cup guys in their race. So, you know, the guys that are on the brink that have to single car qualify 17 to 25, you know, I think they're going to push the issue a little more if they got a chance to be up front, because, you know, they're trying. This is just one step easier for them to actually make that Cup race.
Yeah, while you say that up front, there are a lot of Cup drivers in this field, but right now it's an Xfinity Series regular with Funky Town as he gets loose on the exit. 92 Loosey-Goosey is involved. Wreck is happening, but they're going to stay green. Loosey-Goosey, this is what I was talking about. You start making these bold moves. You start figuring out what your car can and can't do. That was actually set up on the exit of 4 last lap, although the wreck didn't happen until the exit of turn 2. Coming off turn 4, Mike G ran the middle groove trying to hold Lucy over. Lucy did a cross move, and the 61 of Funky Town split the gap and went right up the middle. Because of that, they were 3 wide and out of shape by the time they exited turn 2. Loosey-Goosey goes tight up into the 61, gets loose and causes a wreck. But right now, Funky Town trying to hold off Drunkfest Cup Series regular, who's followed right now by the 07 of Robbie Racing and Mike G behind them. So you have an Xfinity Series only driver in the 61 and then 3 Cup Series drivers now, as Robbie Racing, newly acquired Venom Racing driver. You'll see him hopefully in the number 47 later on tonight. But yeah, Funky Town holding his own up there with these Cup Series regulars.
Yeah, it looks like some contact there between them 4 a little bit now. It looks like there's a little bit of a shuffle going on. But 61 holds on, but then you got the 07 of Robbie Racing is making his move underneath. Hopefully he can get it to stick there. I just wanted to point out, it's just a tough break. Looks like Awesome drew short straw in that last little incident.
Come on, Luz.
You know, I'm glad you said something there, Butters, actually, because I don't think that Butters drew, or not Butters, I don't think that Awesome drew the short straw. He was the race leader, and I caught, Beatty looks like he caught the apron getting really loose in that number 38 machine, but Awesome, I seen him actually pull over. He pulled down on the backstretch and let all the drivers go to the outside of him. So we talked about fuel and tires being a possible issue here in stage number 2, and I'm wondering if that 36 machine hasn't decided to back it down and try to save what he has.
Oh, very, very good point. Very well. I just kind of caught the bottom of the last part of that kind of issue, the incident. So, and I just seen him down on the apron. He actually spun around and hit the inside wall. So I was just. But yeah, as we look, we're back up front here. It looks like.
Did you say?
He's got no lead now.
I apologize. Did you say you caught him spun around?
Yeah, when I finally clicked on the incident, I seen Awesome. He was like spun around and he hit the inside wall there.
Yeah.
After
So
the contact was made.
all right, I got you. So he was involved in that wreck. That's why you had said that. All right, my bad.
Right.
I thought it was just because he had pulled off to the side. I'm riding with him right now, and he does have a lot of damage on that number 36 machine. So you were right when you first mentioned that Awesome had a bad time here. But if he was backing it down and trying to save, damage and running at a slower speed will help him be able to save whatever he's got going on. Hopefully he didn't destroy his tires involved in it. Down on pit road, I'm seeing Crazy Bader. Crew Chief Hamburger Helper has said that the clutch just wasn't working very good. They couldn't shift gears, so they have decided to park that number 8 custom machine here for tonight. Hamburger Helper, always a good help there on pit road, and he's letting us know that the 8 machine will not be racing anymore tonight for Crazy Bader. That was supposed to get a laugh out of Butters, but it didn't.
I'm good going, buddy. Just give me a laugh out loud.
Mike G, race leader in front of Drunkfest, and Brinkerhoff is running in the 3rd position, but I believe that's a lap down. Funky Town is your actual 3rd place driver in that number 61. Robbie Rayson in the 07 runs P4, and Chewy still rounding out your top 5. So Chewy, after a good showing here these last couple weeks, still, again, right here, top 5 driver. Captains, unfortunately, can't sign these guys. It's really unfortunate to see drivers like Funky Town and Chewy keep having these good, strong finishes, but no chance of making the Cup Series other than winning one of these races at this point.
Yeah, right. I mean, going back, what kind of what you're saying, Taddy. Yesterday was our last day for any captains to make moves, trades, or anything for the Cup, for the Cobra Series. So
trade deadline, if you will.
Yeah, I should say that. And it was a crazy one for a while there last night. Really surprised the way it all kicked up for about 2 hours there. It was a very exciting night. But, yeah, unfortunate for these guys. I mean, their only way into a Cup race and regular rest of the season is they got to win one of these bad boys down here. So, but you know what? Chewy's been very consistent since he's been back in here. And, I think he's putting some guys on notice. I mean, that's about all they can do right now is just, they're auditioning for hopefully getting the call for a ride next year. So one way or the other, either being drafted into the Cup Series or the Xfinity Series, with our Cup captains being an owners in both the Cup and Xfinity. So the teams are going to be new next year.
Yeah, and even if you don't get to the Cup level, impressing the captain right now, GTR Beatty, he's running right behind Chewy. Of course, these two know each other regardless, right? But was that the end of stage 2, or is that a caution?
That's it.
Okay, so Mike G holds off Drunkfest, who holds off Funky Town, and then it was Robbie Rayson, followed by Chewy, rounding out your top 5 there for stage 2. But yeah, if you're one of these Xfinity Series regulars, you're really trying to not only are you trying to get a Cup ride, but you're trying to impress a captain to be able to be worked with, right? So what's the big difference between being an Xfinity driver on a team and being an Xfinity driver not on a team, right? Well, here's the big difference. If you're on a team, you have 4 Cup drivers, if you include your captain, 4 Cup drivers, as well as 3 other teammates in the Xfinity Series to work with you, to blend you into. Maybe there's a track that you struggle with, or it's a wheel setting or a controller setting. Well, now you'll have 7 other guys that you can ask questions. What slider should I run at this track? I'm really no good at it. What's a good adjustment for it? And the knowledge that you have at one of your favorite tracks may actually benefit one of your Cup drivers, right? So it's really a big deal. And it looks like Forensic did not pit, and he's going to be our race leader here as we enter stage number 3. Bad Guy also out of the race and at number 10 now.
Right, as you come down to the green flag, yeah, I just like that's before we get too into the race here. That was just a quick comment. That's one of the things a goal of mine is to have some of these underlying guys down in these lower series that, you know, having teams that hopefully these guys communicate more, you know, the captain, you know, they're willing to work and give secrets, or not secrets, but, you know, help these guys along. I want these guys to get as much info as they possibly can to make it sense about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have one secret. If you come to Team Venom, there's a very good chance that you won't finish the season on Team Venom. No, I'm just playing. But I do make a lot of moves. I tend to not keep drivers around for too long. But, yeah, I really think that it's a good thing that you guys got going on there, signing the Xfinity drivers, letting them work one-on-one, you know, team practices with their Cup Series teammates. You know, I really think that's a good idea. And the Cup guys... it's all good and great and grand that you can be one of the fastest people on the track, but, you know, building a community like Cobra, you know, GC, all that type of stuff, right? It's really not worth it if these real fast guys can't share their knowledge and try to make everybody at their level be able to contend with them. As Drunkfest making a pass on the inside for your race lead. Brinkhoff, I know you're early in the run and battling a lot of cars, but if you can, when you cross the line, let us have a lap count here in stage number 3. Oh, somebody got really, really loose in the back. That looks like the 51 old guy is going to collect Forensic, which also collects Brinkerhoff and a few others.
I kind of got the moment, but it's 50 to go right there.
50 laps in this race.
So yeah, like, you know, just touching a little bit, you know, on the, you know, we decided to make, you know, Xfinity teams too. You know, the guys were talking, you know, the team race in the Cup Series has been pretty interesting, pretty intense. So we wanted to bring the same atmosphere down to these guys too, also. So, and you know, we've decided to go 20 car fields in both the Cup and Xfinity. So there's still going to be a place for these guys to go if they don't happen to get drafted on an Xfinity team. We're also going to bring what we're going to call an ARCA series in for these guys, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be running Xfinity cars in that series. We're going to call ARCA, and it's going to have a place for these guys to still race with the league. And just to work on their skills and hone their skills in. And so, like I said, just because we're going to a 20 and 20 doesn't mean these guys are going to be basically out of luck. I mean, we also have our truck series, our super truck series we call on Sunday night, which is pretty much open to all the drivers. It's kind of just a fun thing for everybody to get together.
Yeah, I really like that too, right? Because you're letting the Cup drivers battle against Xfinity drivers. Next season, like you're seeing right now, Cup versus Xfinity, but these are Cup drivers that have been drafted or they're at the bottom of the points, right? But the Truck Series lets Big Jim and Gator Mike, your top 2 drivers in the Cup Series, they get to race against some of the guys that are even at the bottom of the Xfinity Series, right? And really get used to everybody in the league. And I really like that. I think it's a really good move.
Yeah, like I said, the truck thing is basically just to have the whole group, the whole league be able to get together, have a fun night of racing. I mean, it's still serious. I mean, it ain't just a free-for-all, but yeah, we just like to have that big group camaraderie, you know, at least one night a week we get everybody in the league in there.
Travis Tyson out there said Venom needs to be called Rushing Waters because it's never stagnant. I don't know if I appreciate that. So Butters, I don't know if you like this portion, but here on the GC Broadcasting Network, what I like to do is, for a lap, possibly 2 laps, we call it the Giggity Get Loud. We're going to go ahead and do, once they get back to the line, we'll start with Mike G. We'll crank it up just a little bit so you guys can hear a little bit of throttle control, a little bit of racing action amongst these drivers out here. And so, yeah, once Mike G crosses the line, we're going to do a Kansas Giggity Get Loud here in the Cobra Racing Xfinity Series.
Get after it, boys.
Gave a little bit of time with most of the drivers. We even rode along with Brinkerhoff there as he was exiting turn 4, headed to the line. So, yeah, I really like doing that section for some viewers at home. You might be able to get to hear a little bit something you may not have known about the throttle control and how these guys try to ride around and control that. So I really enjoy doing that, and thank you, Butters, for allowing that here.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I like that little segment. Like I said, it's just a little different angle that you bring to the audience, and yeah, I really enjoy that little. We just got to come up maybe with a little different name. So
yeah, I just called it that. That's what I first started calling it. And
I know.
In season one, in season 1 of my league, right? Like that's what I come up with it, and then secondary to that, copyright laws. Got to be careful with what you call it. Some people call it the NASCAR version, right? And that's illegal.
Right, for sure. Yeah, you gotta. This day and age, you gotta be.
Yeah. I know. I'm just glad we don't get in trouble for putting this out there with the sponsors on the cars, right? Like they're not coming at us yelling at us for copyright infringements.
Yeah, that's for sure. But just going back to the race team. Looks like we got the number 90 at Ty Rayson. I don't think we've mentioned him much at all tonight at all, but I see he has made his way up into that. What is he running? 7th, I would say. He's right behind the number 38 at Chase Beatty.
Yeah, that's 7th place. We got a 5-car breakaway up front with Mike, Drunkfest, Loosey Goosey, Robbie Rayson, and of course, when it pans out again, I'll tell you who the other car in that top 5 is. But then running 6th, 7th, and 8th, we have Chase Beatty, we have Ty Rayson, and we have Funky Town. And the other car in the top 5, that's Tiller.
I got to exit out. Sorry.
But if these guys would, right, if they straighten up and they follow in the draft, those top 5 are trying to race you. They're trying to still pickle over positions. This second set of 3, if these guys will single file out, they can catch them. I don't like what Ty's doing, making that pass. There's not really any reason for that right now. It's not going to benefit you. It's not going to. All it's going to do is hurt you. And that's one of those things that maybe an Xfinity driver. Again, we talked about the team aspect, right? Maybe that's something that would help these guys learn. You got to really know when it's appropriate to make these moves. And it's appropriate at any time. It is racing, right? You don't want to just follow the leader. That's silly. Like you're trying to be the fastest car. But here's the problem: you can't be the best car. You can't get that P number 1 if you're going to let him walk away because you're too busy racing side by side. So there is things that I believe a Cup captain could help. Up front, with all this said, Tiller looks like he caught the wall. Him and Drunkfest now. It may have been Drunkfest that caught the wall, so I'm not going to blame Tiller. But P4 and P5 of that 5-car group now has lost connection to Mike G, Loosey Goosey, and Robbie Rayson. So 3 Cup regulars up front. And then you have Tiller now running P4, and then a Cup regular sitting in P5. So Tiller now, unlike earlier, it was Funky Town, right? So he was the one driver in the top 5, unlike all the other Cup drivers. Right now it's Tiller.
Yeah, now just kind of cruising through the field again once more to it, Caddy. But looks like we've had 4 cars fall to casualties tonight. So I noticed the number 36, Awesome, is on pit road, along with the number 8 of Bader. Also number 10, a Bad Guy, and I believe our latest one is 17 of our race reporter, Brinkerhoff. Unfortunate for these guys, especially number 36, Awesome, had a strong car at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. You tend to see that a lot in these Xfinity series. I've noticed that a lot. Blakey T, we're not even seeing him out there, right? But a lot of times in these Xfinity series, when you're a Cup Series driver, right? Like, you know that you already have another race, like you're aiming for it. Come out here, like Awesome did. He was kind of dominating stage 1. He was leading most of stage 2. Then, as you said, you get involved in a wreck or something like that, right? And your race is over. So instead of running it out, you're like, you're still running for points, but you don't really care so much about it anymore because you're still in the Cup Series race. So they just back out. And I got to be honest, as a team captain myself, I'd have a big issue with that. They'd probably be one of the first drivers that I'd be like, yeah, you're gone. But to each their own. But yeah, Blakey T, we've seen that a few times this season with him, where he gets involved in a wreck and he backs out once the race is kind of ruined, And now I feel like that's what happened with Awesome there. He was running up front, then all of a sudden running in the back, and all of a sudden it's no fun anymore. So you're out of there.
Yeah, and I kind of hope that is not the case. I mean, because like I said, that's not a very good. If you're a captain looking at that, I mean, you can't have guys just quitting because they get a tough break. But what's another surprising too is, Awesome was right up there with the points. So, I mean, by doing this, he's losing his chance at all. Trying to get that title in the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, definitely. I can't disagree with that at all.
But like you say, my point of view too, Teddy, like you say, those are the things you would look at as a captain. Even if it's just to run Xfinity, if you're going to sign a guy next year, draft a guy to your Xfinity team, I mean, you're going to want guys sticking it out. That's going to stick it out. See if they can overcome adversity, and see what run it out and get that best finish they can.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other big, huge point of this, even if you have a bad instance and you're running in the back, right? 2 drivers from every team count for your points. And say there's 14 cars. I don't know what the actual number count here is, but say there's 14 to 16 cars and you're running 14th. Well, then all of a sudden, 2 of your teammates end up getting wrecked. Now you're the second highest driver on your team, and you just picked up 2 spots. Now you're running 12th, right? Where the other 2 drivers might finish 15th and 16th. Well, that 12th place spot, not only is it like it's not a good run for you, you're not happy with that, but as a team, that's exactly where you needed to finish, because if you back out, now your team, your best finishers, you got 14th, 15th, and 16th, right? So those two positions come the season's end could mean the world, as it looks like we're starting to have green flag pit stops.
Yep, I was just going to mention, I see had the camera on the number 20 of Warpig, and he's coming down pit road, so this could be the start of our green flag pit stops here.
Yep. Sorry. Cup broadcaster was just getting a hold of me, so Cam Black will be here for the Cup Series. So him and Tiller, if Tiller doesn't win this race, then him and Tiller will be teaming up and doing the Cup Series. Again, Butters, I don't know if maybe you want to stick around and help them out for their first week doing it, but that's completely up to you.
Yeah, maybe I'll probably join this week. Make sure you guys get off the right foot. If there's any questions, I can answer. Yeah, whatever it takes to get these guys comfortable in the booth together. But yeah.
I'm going to try to see if anybody else is streaming, so apologies to anybody else that may be trying to watch this right now, right? Brinkerhoff is still streaming, but he's not in the race anymore. I'm trying to get, now that Brink's not in here, right, it's almost impossible to tell who the race leader is once they go to pit road. Mike G was the race leader. And there's our... Alright, Butters, I don't know if you want to do this. This is completely up to you, but you got multiple invites. If you wanted to back out of the race and then come right back in, as soon as you get to the lobby, you can invite Cam Black, and then I can stay live with these guys, and Cam can help finish this race out. Completely up to you, though.
Yep, I will definitely do that. I can do that. I can get him in.
But yeah, welcome to the booth, Cam Black. He will be your Cup Series broadcaster later on, so we're kind of getting him used to the Cobra Racing Series here, as we're seeing Mike G coming off pit road now. I'm assuming we're at about... there was 50 laps to go, and Brink told us that, right? So I'm assuming these guys split the stage in half. I don't think they have to make a second stop, and if that is the scenario, then the 21 of Mike G looking good out here. But I'm not seeing any of those other drivers that he was racing with, so they may still be on track. Unfortunately, without a broadcast, in-driver broadcast, or an in-race reporter, now that Brinkoff is left, I don't have a lap count for you. Welcome, Cam. No, you're good. You're good. This is the Xfinity Series race, right? Like we wanted you up here in the booth for the Cup Series race. We're just bringing you in so that you can get accustomed to the league.
So yeah, I just want to chime in quick. We got Cam. You should have an invite for this lobby, so you can join this lobby and then join the race. And Caddy, it looks like we're looking at lap 73 of 100. That's what's shown on the load-up screen.
Well, that's interesting. Because here's the thing: if we're on lap 73, that means there's still 28 laps to go. That means they did not pit at the halfway mark of the stage, which also means we're going to see a second round of stops. Or is somebody still out there in the race lead right now, possibly saving fuel? Is Drunkfest now making his pit stop? So he was one of your top 5 drivers, so if he's just now making the pit stop, he may have actually been able to save, and that may be why him and Tiller fell off from our race leader at the time. We're seeing Robbie with Chase Beatty. These guys were running in the top 6 or 7. Chase was actually behind Robbie. Now he's in front of him. I don't know. Chase is going a little slower, so I don't know if maybe he short pit and or he might still be out there running on the older tires.
Yeah, I'm just loaded back in. I just want Cam, did you get that invite? All right. That sounds good.
Hey Cam, if you get a copy, could you turn your mic volume up? It's pretty mellow in comparison to Butters, right? YouTube land, can you guys get a copy on Cam? Is he loud enough?
I'm here.
Yeah, that's way better. That volume there was way better.
I didn't turn the volume up. I just spoke on her.
All right, well, you got one of 2 options there. Either talk louder or turn up the volume. Just want to make sure the viewers at home can hear you.
Once the racing starts to get more exciting, I might crank it up a notch. Did just sleep for 2.5 hours. But,
Ooh.
you know, once stuff starts getting exciting, I'm sure I'll crank it up a few notches.
Yeah, the 21 of Mike G, I believe him to be your race leader, right? So Lucy Goosey and Robbie Rayson, those guys were running 2nd and 3rd. They were your top 3, and then Drunkfest and Tiller had kind of fallen off a little bit. But Mike G, being the one that pit the earliest, has the advantage. So he decided he will not be trying to save and make this a one-stop race. He is definitely going to make a 2nd stop. Because of that, he ended up with what looks to be about a 2 to 2.5 second lead over the 92 of Lucy Goosey, who then has about another 2nd to 2.5 to the 07 of Robbie Rayson. If I were to guess. Oh, Lucy Goosey on pit road now. Intriguing.
Oh, you're spinning.
Yeah, is that going to bring out a caution? If that brings out a caution, listen to me. Listen, that would put the 92 as the race leader after, because he's already on pit road, hasn't yet to lose a lap. But they're going to stay green, so Mike G holding the lead. I think what Luce did there was ran a few hot laps, went back to pit road once the fuel window opened up. That's a bold strategy. We're going to have to see how it pans out because, quite frankly, I have no idea how that's going to pan out. Also, Drunkfest is just in front of Mike G. I don't know what happened to him either. Maybe Drunkfest is the leader? I don't think so. Drunkfest may have got a pit road penalty. I don't see how else he would be the leader.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough here trying to figure this out. That's one of the tough things about the game here nowadays. You know, once you lose that in-race recorder, you know, just in a way, especially with green flag pit stops, you can lose track of where everybody, you know, who's actually leader where. It's a tough aspect of the game as far as from a broadcast.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the one thing that 704 Games promised the Heat community was a active ticker, and then they brought in, when the game came out, there was an active ticker that was always wrong, so they just went ahead and deleted it instead of trying to fix it. So thank you 704 Games for confusing the broadcasters. You know, leagues are what makes your money for your game. You'd think you could do one thing right and actually get the ticker going, but at least the wheels don't float anymore like they used to, and the game's still better than Ignition. So right, Mike G in that number 21 Chevy Camaro hot scream pepper car, doing a great job. Robbie Rayson looks like he's running P2 now. Lucy Goosey is back on track. Again, he has made a 2nd stop, so he is now running behind Robbie Racing. Robbie Racing now peeling off and coming to pit road. I'm wondering if we're not down to like 15 to 18 laps to go.
And we got to be in that, pretty much that window. So yeah, I don't know. So I think there's some guys out here who's got some serious strategies going on here. So
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch the end of this. It's interesting what Mike G is going to do. What's his going to be his move here? Like you're saying, he's almost got it covered.
All right, 20. Mike's coming down right now.
Okay, so we have, yeah.
Mike G is now in pit.
Yeah, I mean, and he had to, right? So Mike G, he pit first of all the race leaders. He was the first one to come to pit road, and we've seen that gave him a 2.5 to 3 second advantage, right? Well, if you know that it gives you a big advantage like that, you can't all of a sudden turn around and be the last one to come to pit road on the final stop, right? Because if you wait 5, 6, 7 laps longer than the rest of the field, all of a sudden that 2.5 gap that you gained the first stop becomes a 3-second gap the other direction, as Loosey Goosey and Robbie would be able to make that up by simply pitting early, same as he had done earlier. Watching Loosey Goosey now, he's actually going around the 21 of Mike G, so I believe when this cycles around, Loosey Goosey is going to be a race leader in that custom number 92 Chevy Camaro, and I'm wondering if maybe, okay, so Loosey Goosey pit, he was only on track for about 5 laps. If this is just if you're a strategic kind of driver, right? There's a huge gap between him, Robbie, Mike G, the 38 of Beatty. I'm assuming that while the left side tires were still in the 90s, he had run 5, 6 laps, then decided to pit, take right sides only because the tires would still be fairly even. And because of that, you're seeing this big gap that he has. Because you also, keep in mind, if you're only going to be running 5, 6 laps short, you don't need 2 cans of fuel either. So right sides only with half a can or 1 can, you could get out with 8 seconds instead of a 15-second stop that everyone else might be doing.
Yeah, and I believe the 21 took just 2 tires too, because when he hit pit road and he come to his pit, I counted it up and it was about 9 seconds. So I believe he only took probably enough fuel in right sides.
Well, you know, with that said then, Loosey Goosey may have, we talked about tire and fuel earlier, right? So tire and fuel, Mike G may have taken 2 because you counted him to 9 seconds, right? So I nailed that on the head with the 8 to 9 seconds for a race leader, right? Or for Loosey Goosey. What if Loose went no tires? Because there's no way that he made up that big of a gap on somebody that did 2 tires if he did the exact same strategy. He was about 2.5 to 3 seconds behind, and now he's got about a 3.5 to 4 second lead. So possible no tire stop, fuel only stop for the 92 of Loosey Goosey.
Yeah, so that was just a bold move by Lucy. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if the 21 can run him down at all.
Oh, yeah. And, Cam, I'm going to shoot it down to you, right? So you don't really know a whole lot about the Cobra Racing Series. This is their Xfinity Series. They allow some Cup drivers in there, which Loose Goose, he is a Cup driver, so is Mike G. However, anybody not in the top 16 in points for the Cup Series has to do a single car qualify. But because you're not guaranteed a Cup race, they let you race in the Xfinity Series, right? So that's how that works. And if you win the Xfinity Series race, you no longer have to single car qualify. You are locked into the show that night. So that's kind of how it runs down, right? But I know that you have a lot of speed when you race as well, right? So on a track like this, do you think the 92 Loosey Goosey, if he went no tires, do you think he can hold off a car like the 21 with 3 other cars behind him that may have fresher tires?
Oh, I definitely think he could. And it's not about whether he can hold him off. I think if he doesn't screw up, he's fine. I mean, if he manages to, especially here where you're running the outside, if you're really not abusing it and you're not sending it really deep into the turn and you're not smacking the wall every turn, his tires are going to be fine. And I really think that even if they do catch him, no mistakes, and he's going to stay in front of them. I mean, that 21's quick, but he struggled for a few laps there to even get around that first car. And then once he got around the first car, it took him 2 more laps to get around the second car, and then et cetera, et cetera. So he's struggling to pass, but he's quick. So it's going to be really interesting to see if he can chase him down. But then if he can chase him down, how much time does he have left to get around him?
Yeah, I really like that you added that 2 cents, right? Because we've seen it, and it's been proven all night long that outside lane is so important at this track, right? So even if they do gain all the ground on Loose, if there's only 2-3 laps left, do you have enough time to run a muster up enough speed to make a pass on the inside lane? It's going to be very difficult. As Chewy with damage, he goes a lap down. He was one of your top 5 contenders here throughout the night, but unfortunately the strategy just didn't pan out. I say that he is got damage. He may be just trying to save it and stop from having to stop, because I'm assuming the 92 to be in the race lead, ladies and gentlemen, but that does not mean that the 92 is actually in the race lead right now. Again, without the in-car or the in-race reporter, I'm assuming there to be at least 1 to 2 drivers out there that are trying to save fuel if it's that close, where a driver like Loosey Goosey can go no fuel or no tires and fuel only. Then I'd have to assume that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 drivers that have backed it down enough to try to do no extra stop at all, because quite frankly, every race that's a fuel strategy, somebody's trying to save the fuel.
Yeah, I'm just looking at pit road here again, Daddy. They've got the number 90. Ty Racing has come down pit road again.
He was the leader.
Did you say he was the leader? The 90 was the race leader?
The leader was the leader, yeah.
Okay.
Now Drunk Fest is your leader.
99 at Drunk Fest. Now, I did see him back down. If you remember, I called that out, that the 99, there's no way he would be the leader unless he was saving fuel or yet to stop when he was in front of the 21, right? So, is the 99 the car that decided to back it down? As he's now getting to the front stretch, and as I said, he was getting to the front stretch, right? We're going to get to Loosey Goosey, who's just now in the middle of 3 and 4. So the 99 has a half-track lead over this 92 of Loosey Goosey, who, again, I don't know the strategy there. Next guy that I think Robbie made his second stop too, right? I don't know what's going on, but he's just now on the front stretch. So I'm actually thinking Robbie did 4 tires on his stop. So he's probably one of your fastest cars out on the track right now. Going to go ahead and get to Drunk Fest. He is our race leader. Try to pay attention when he pits.
It definitely sounds like he's going quarter throttle. Rode with him through a few turns, and he is not pushing it whatsoever. And I think he was trying to ride behind those cars just to save as much as he can, tire and fuel-wise.
Yeah, and the other key to that is, we talked about the outside lane is the fast way around the track, right? I'm riding along with the 99 now. You can clearly hear that he's not up to throttle, but there in turn 1 and 2. He didn't even run the top side of the track. He was running the very bottom of the track all the way down at the white line. So that's another thing that comes into play at a track like Kansas. So if you're only a lap or 2 short on making it in fuel, what people don't understand is, instead of actually backing the car down, you can actually just start running at the bottom of the track. You're still going to be slower, so it's a lot like you're backing it down, right? Because you don't have the lane of choice. However, you're running the shorter way around the track, right? So if your car says you have 47 miles before you run out of fuel, if you run the top of the track, you might hit 47 miles in 47 laps. Well, if you're running the bottom of the track, you're only going 45 miles instead of the 47, and you just save 2 gallons of fuel. So that is a huge thing, right? Same amount of laps, but a lot less fuel by simply running the bottom. And the 99 right now is definitely not up to speed. So Drunk Fest looking good for the race win. But where is... Can somebody get on?
Ooh, that blue car just put that. I don't know who the numbers are, guys, but that blue car just put that white car on the apron.
Funky Town in the 61, old guy in the 51. That is RJ Smitty's dad in the number 51.
Yeah, right in front of the leader.
Could Butters, can I get you to ride along with Loosey Goose for a lap or 2?
Yeah.
Let me know when you're on him. All right, Drunk Fest just crossed the line. Let me know when Loose does.
Okay.
Now.
Right there.
All right, so middle of turn 1 and 2 for the 99, who's still running the bottom in turns 1 and 2. He's running the top in 3 and 4, but I don't know where we're running in laps. I'm assuming we're down to 10 laps or so to go.
We're way under 10 to go. We might be about 5-4 to go.
So will the 99 have enough fuel? Because if he has enough fuel, he's going to be your race winner.
Yeah, he's got it in the bank. It seemed like for a few laps there, he was running quarter throttle, but now he's running in top, and if you run on board with him, it sounds like he's running pretty confident.
I'm running with him, right? And in turns 1 and 2, he's running mid groove and bottom. But in 3 and 4, he's staying high idle and on the top side. So we just seen it right there. He's running the middle of the track or so in 1 and 2. So he is still saving, but he's now picked up the throttle where he's running a faster pace than what he was before. So I agree with you. I agree to disagree with you there, Cam. He is up to speed as far as using the throttle pedal, but he's not running the preferred lane, which is all the way around the track.
Then that makes you think that he may have gotten a little bit more confident that he can finish and make it.
Right, like he's probably
right.
Yeah, he's probably like half a lap short or something at this point. So by running the bottom, he'll be able to save it. Yeah,
really
that type of thing.
Aggressively let out the gas right there. Rimmed the bottom and was out of the gas. A good quarter through the turn.
This is the white flag they're coming to.
Oh, got to get back with Drunk Fest.
He's really going to the bottom. He's really trying to save. This could be interesting here, guys.
I just hit a button and it changed my camera view. I didn't even know it worked. I just hit triangle and it changes view. It doesn't tell me you can hit triangle to change view. White flag here for Drunk Fest. Number 99 Insurance King Toyota Camry in the Cobra Xfinity Series. Is Beatty on the lead lap?
He's sputtering, I think. Oh, no. He's still got some gas.
Is Beatty in second?
No, I believe the 92 is.
Because Beatty was a top 5 driver, and then after these pit cycles, he's coming around. He will pass the 99 car. Oh, okay. So your race leader will be the 99 of Drunk Fest. He's out of fuel, but he still has a big enough gap to hold back the 92.
That's incredible.
So we have Drunk Fest, Loosey Goosey, and Mike G. Going to go ahead and try to get all three of them here in the... Actually, we're not going to have time for that. We'll bring in just Drunk Fest. Sorry, guys. Tonight I am... I'm going to help set up the single car qualify, so I'll be running that. Which means we're going to have to cut the broadcast a little short on the Xfinity Series. Sorry, guys. Drunk Fest 17 is the PSN. Come on, load. Oh, he's already in here. Okay, I guess he got a podium finish last week.
Yep, he should be in. And he just realizes that he needs to come in here.
It's really incredible that he was able to save that much.
You know, I was interested because when they started making their pit stops, somebody had said there was 28 laps to go, right? 50 or 73 of 100, and that's 28 laps. But that was when Mike G pit, right? So then Drunk Fest had stayed out a few, and I talked about splitting the stage in half and going 25 and 25. But all right, race winner in here. Drunk Fest, you got your voice set to always allow?
Yeah, what's going on, bud?
All right, listen. Stage 1, Stage 2, you had one of the top 3 cars, and when the race ended, you were one of the top 5 fastest cars. So definitely a good showing there in that number 99 machine. But man of the hour, question of the hour is, when did you decide in Stage 3 that it was going to become a fuel race and that you wanted to save? Was that something you thought about? Did you practice that, or did it kind of just fall into your hands that way?
No, I didn't practice it. I just seen fields spread out. Maybe more than likely I wasn't really cautious. So about halfway through that first stint, just saved it. Just started saving it. You had to back way off on controller, especially. It's hard to do. And I was out coming to the line, so held on barely, saved just enough.
Butters, I'm going to send it down to you. Do you have a anything you want to say to our race winner?
Oh man, I just want to say, congratulations on this. Another impressive run by you, man, down here. But yeah, I see what you were talking about there when you seen the field spread out, because we kind of figured you were, because we kind of rode along with you there for a little bit. And it was brought up in the chat, or the broadcast here, that you were running, I could tell you were running probably about quarter throttle. So, but you know what? It's a hell of a strategy you put into place, and it paid off for you, man.
Yeah, I lost one like that at Chicagoland earlier this year, so I figured I'd try to stick around, get it back. Ended up working that way.
Yeah, for sure. That's about all I got there.
All right, sorry, I was making a broadcast chat, right? Always got to square things away here. Always occupied. Drunk Fest, you were actually already 16th in points in the Cup Series, I believe, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So by winning this race, you actually just made the Cup Series race that much more intriguing, because you were already locked into the show, but because you won, that means one of the other Cup Series regulars, like Loosey Goosey, who has to now qualify his way in, that means him finishing second, he's unable to lock his way in. So all drivers now have to compete for the spots, and there's one less car in the Cup Series. So really, really good job, and congratulations on the victory here tonight. Did you think at all about that, about maybe blocking the other drivers from locking their way in?
No, I just wanted to finish out regular season on a strong note, go to the playoffs, enjoy the regular season title, try to get a win that way. I had nothing to lose, so I figured I'd just try to fuel mileage game.
Yeah, definitely. Again, congratulations. And Cam Black, you're in here. I'm going to send it to you and Brinkoff. You guys both got time to ask Drunk Fest one question, and then I got to get out of here and go join the qualifiers.
97.
I'm going to go to you, Cam, if you got any questions.
No questions. Just I can congratulate you. It was a hell of a job saving. Really impressed.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
Brink, you should have another number and then a question. 52. Okay.
I don't have a lot of questions. I actually missed a bit of that. I had to quit out for racing, fortunately. So my only question is, if I can make the playoffs.
Well, points aren't done yet, so yeah, we'll have to wait on that one.
For our points guru.
Yeah.
On that note, guys, I'm going to end this broadcast. Tune in later as your Xfinity Series race winner, Drunkfest, will be driving the number 20 Toyota for Lost in the Sauce Motorsports as we're getting ready to go here in about 24 minutes now for the Cup Series. So I got to get this qualifying in. But thank you, and don't forget to tune in for that Cup Series race.